So the Philadelphia 76ers defeated the Indiana Pacers today 129-126. No Joel Embiid tonight. They got it done. James Harden played a team high 43 minutes. I'll get into why this worries me later in the video, but I mean, he played pretty well today and the rest of the team played pretty well. So we're going to talk about the Sixers, talking about the box score overall, and the 76ers going into basically, I would say, the first half of the season. So what's up? My name is JDC. If you like what you see, drop a like below, subscribe to the channel. I'd appreciate it. And let's just get right into it. So James Harden tonight, 26 points, 8 assists, 6 rebounds, 1 steal, and 2 blocks on 8 of 20 from the field and 2 of 8 from 3. Pretty inefficient night from James overall, but he did play a team high of 43 minutes, and I think this was a game high too overall. He's played the most amount of minutes, and I think when he came back from that injury back in December, he played I want to say 40 plus minutes in that first game back. So the reason this scares me, and it's because it's more of James Harden's injury history that worries me. I mean, he's mostly had hamstring injuries for in recent history. I want to say back, dating back to the Brooklyn Nets, and playing 40 minutes plus coming back from an injury just doesn't help with your injury. So Doc Rivers, I mean, he's driving James Harden and Joel Embiid into the ground, man. I mean, he's got to relax on them. He does. I don't know, playing 40 minutes on a guy that, he's gonna be playing for you, obviously, but, with 43 minutes, you're definitely risking an injury with James Harden. So he did play well today. I will give him credit, but I mean, pretty inefficient night overall from James Harden. So Tyrese Maxey, 17 points and 5 rebounds, 6 assists and a steal on 6 of 16 from the field and 1 of 4 from 3. Maxey back into the lineup. I think this is his second game back from the ankle strain. So he's been playing. I mean, this game especially, he played pretty well. Last game, he didn't really do too much because that was the first game back. So great to see Tyrese Maxey getting back into the groove of things. Obviously, wasn't the most efficient night, 6 of 16 from the field. So he'll get back to his form where he was before his injury. So we'll see what happens in the future. I mean, without Joel Embiid tonight, it was a lot harder to get things done on offense. But regardless, he did pretty well today. So Tobias Harris, 19 points and 10 rebounds, 3 assists on 8 of 18 from the field and 1 of 5 from 3. Harris, I think he had a good putback when Maxey missed in the fourth to force overtime and they won. So Tobias Harris, he's been a pretty valuable piece to this Sixers roster. Now his contract may say otherwise. I mean, he's been making some pretty hefty money for the level he's playing at right now. But I mean, he's been a pretty important piece in terms of a guy that can shoot, someone that can give you some quick buckets and overall can just spot up in the corner, spot up in the wing, and just give you some buckets overall. So DeAnthony Melton, who's been pretty clutch and pretty great for them lately, 19 points and 7 rebounds, had 7 of 15 from the field and 5 of 8 from 3. Yeah, the Sixers today only shot 39% from the 3, while the Pacers shot 36%. So it was a pretty low-scoring game in terms of, the 3 ball, but I mean, DeAnthony Melton, 5 of 8 from the 3. He's been pretty clutch, and he hit a clutch 3-pointer in the fourth, too. So, I mean, he's been a pretty good pickup for this team. Played some great defense today, too. I'll give him some, his flowers, essentially. I thought Melton, he started off the season pretty slow, and then he started to pick it up in the second. As of late, actually, yeah, pretty as of late, that Melton's starting to play pretty well. So, great pickup from the Sixers. So, off the bench, we have a lot of guys to talk about. Montrez, I would say Montrez has been probably the best player in this game, essentially, for the Sixers. 19 points and 5 rebounds with 1 assist and a steal. 4 blocks, which is great to see, on 8 of 9 from the field. In Joel Embiid's absence, he played very well today in 28 minutes, and I think he's definitely had that potential to become a great backup center for this team. He just wasn't getting the chance. I mean, looking at his previous game logs overall, last game, he only played 12 minutes. The game before that, 16, 12, 10, 14. So this is the first time he's getting over 20-plus minutes, and he's definitely thrived. So he could definitely get the backup center minutes compared to Paul Reed, which I know Paul Reed, he's been pretty underrated for this team too. I know Sixers fans definitely like this guy, but I mean, Montrezl Harrell, 19 and 5 with 4 blocks this game. Pretty great stuff from Montrez overall. So we got Shake Milton, 13 points and 3 rebounds and 4 assists. Niang with 11 points and 1 rebound. I know Shake Milton is also a very underrated guy for this team. Whenever Maxey was out and Shake Milton was starting, he was doing a pretty okay job, nothing too amazing. But, I mean, he could be more utilized as a backup point guard or a backup guard overall just to run the offense, to facilitate the offense. And he definitely has that potential. And Niang, I mean, a good catch and shoot 3-pointer right there. Someone that's going to get it done then. Essentially, off the bench, you need a guy like that. So the Sixers overall, they're in a pretty good position. They are moving up to 23-14 over the season. Looking at the standings overall in the East, yeah, they should be, yeah, they're still fifth place in the East behind the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Bucks, the Nets, and the Celtics. Very competitive East right here this year. I mean, they still got teams like the Pacers who, almost beat them in overtime. The Knicks, who also have Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson. I mean, even the Hawks, who haven't been looking too great as of late, but definitely have a scary team. The Sixers, I mean, with a fully healthy team, this team can definitely get it done. The problem is that Doc Rivers, like I said in the beginning of the video, he's playing guys like Joel Embiid and James Harden essentially 40-plus minutes each and every game, running their legs into the ground. So hopefully Doc Rivers can make some adjustments. Now, I don't know. I definitely would like to see more guys like Paul Reed to play a little bit more to see what he's capable of. Guys like Korkmaz. I mean, I know Korkmaz definitely has some potential as a good 3-point shooter. And overall, I mean, the roster is built pretty well. I mean, PJ Tucker today, 25 minutes and 0 points, had 7 rebounds, an assist, and a steal. But he had a lot of good defensive plays, a lot of good overall just rebounding plays in the fourth. So he's been pretty valuable for this team. The thing is, I mean, is Doc Rivers the answer to this team in terms of coaching? Maybe not. I mean, you probably go out and find a new coach. But, I mean, I would say we're almost getting to the middle of the season here. So, I don't know if a coaching change for a contender like this is really a good idea, especially because they've built chemistry already with Doc Rivers. So, it doesn't really make sense. But I don't know. I don't really think Doc Rivers is the answer for this team in terms of coaching. We need a guy that's going to not run James Harden and Joel Embiid's legs into the floor. I mean, especially this game where Harden played 43 minutes. And over the season, I mean, if you look at his minutes played per game, he's averaging 38 minutes per game, which is absurd for someone that's 33 years old and has hamstring injuries. So we'll see what happens. You guys can let me know what you guys think about the Philadelphia 76ers. In terms of going into the playoffs, I mean, I mostly have them staying around like the 5 or the 4th seed. So that's going to be pretty great right there in terms of what they're going to be capable of. It's hard to tell. I mean, Joel Embiid and James Harden, they're both, I would say, both pretty injury prone now, especially Joel Embiid being a 7-footer. So I don't know. It depends on if the team is healthy, I guess. With Maxey having his share of injuries in terms of what happened recently, James Harden, Joel Embiid, and the role players being pretty inconsistent, it's going to be pretty interesting to see how this team plays out in the playoffs. So you guys can let me know what you guys think about the Philadelphia 76ers. Where do you guys have them in the playoffs? That's the end. And I'm out. Peace.